From orbit, the planet looked like an emerald veiled in smoke. Its atmosphere was thick, swirling with golden clouds, and hid the surface below. Steve adjusted the controls, brought forward. Readings confirm it's breathable, mostly carbon dioxide, some exotic trace gases. Not exactly welcoming, he muttered. Sabla leaned over, her gaze fixed on the display. Thick atmosphere, high pressure. If we want answers, we can't stay up here. We have to land. Steve shot her crooked grin. Straight into the unknown, just the way I like it. She gave him a sidelong look, unimpressed. Confidence is easy when you haven't seen the ground yet. When they broke through the cloud cover, the surface revealed itself in dazzling, impossible shapes. Rock outcrops jutted skyward like coral reefs, jagged spires stretching for kilometers between them. Rivers of molten stone glowed faintly, feeding into one supermassive ocean that sat like a dark heart at the center of the planet. Holy! Steve's voice trailed off as he guided the lander lower. That's not terrain. That's a sculpture. Nature on steroids. The shore, Sabla pointed out. It is the only flat stretch we get. Steve groaned, but banked the lander toward the northern coastline. The rest of the planet was too hostile, too chaotic to risk. They touched down on a narrow strip of rock where the ocean waves lapped sluggishly, thick and murky like oil. As the lander's ramp lowered, Sabla stepped out first, her nanosuit adjusting instantly to the alien light. Gold scales shimmered with white edges, a living armor that rippled as she moved. Steve followed, his own suit a pale blue, traced with white, flexing as though it breathed with him. The suit can read the emotions and feelings of its wearers and adjusts accordingly. It's bulletproof, fireproof, waterproof. It keeps the wearer warm when the outside atmosphere is cold and keeps them cool when it's hot. She looked around, awestruck. It's alive, she whispered, and it was. The ground itself seemed restless. Strange plants sprouted before their eyes, shoots piercing the soil, blooming in seconds, releasing clouds of spores before collapsing back into mulch. Others burst from cracks in the rocks, blossomed, withered and died, all within a minute. The air was thick with nutrients and shifting gases. Every breath filtered through their suits. Evolution on fast forward, Steve murmured, crouching to examine a flower that welted into dust even as he reached for it. Whole life cycle in minutes. That's insane. Sable's eyes tracked the sky. Not just plants. Look! Above them, flocks of bird-like creatures wheeled and screeched, wings shimmering like glass. Every living thing here seemed made for flight, as if the ground could never be trusted. In the distance, half a dozen volcanoes erupted in unison, fountains of molten fire staining the clouds. Steve whistled low. Hell of a neighborhood. The ground rumbled. Sabla froze. Do you feel? The earth split beneath them. A crack shot across the ground, tearing wider with a sound, like the planet itself screaming. Sabla staggered back, Steve grabbing her arm as the rock split open, pulling apart faster than they could run. Move! Steve shouted. They sprinted, the crack chasing their heels, the world collapsing into a jagged abyss. Dust and fire roared up around them as the fissure widened into a yawning gorge. When they finally skidded to a halt, Gasping, they looked down into the chasm. The lander was gone. At the gorge's bottom, half buried in rock and mud, the silver hull lay crushed. And then the tide came. Water from the great ocean surging inward. Within moments, the lander disappeared beneath the dark, churning waves. No, no, no! Steve's voice cracked. Hands pressed to his helmet. Sabla tapped her wrist calm, her voice sharp. Control, this is Sabla. And Steve, do you copy? Respond. Only static hissed in their ears. The atmosphere was too dense, too hostile for clean transmission. They were cut off. Sabla lowered her arm, her expression grim beneath the golden shimmer of her suit. We're stranded. Steve swallowed hard, scanning the horizon, where volcanoes painted the sky red. Stranded on a death trap of a planet with no way to reach the ship. Sabla turned to him, her voice quiet but steady, each word carrying steel. Then we survived. That's what we are trained for. Steve met her eyes, the first trace of doubt flickering in his grin. Yeah, but training didn't prepare us for this. Above them, the bird creatures screamed as if laughing, circling in the sulphurous sky. The gorge boiled with sea water below.